She gave me AIDS. Photos were okay. 2 stars.
What? 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 You can't do that. That is defamatory. What? What? Oh my God. Oh my God. My name is Damon with Complete Media, and I thank you guys for coming in and rocking with me one more time. Today, I'm going to be reacting to a video I've been excited to check out. I've seen it online a few times. It's about a wedding photographer that wins $1 million lawsuit. So I'm going to be checking it out here. I'm somewhat familiar. I've seen a couple things, but only a little bit, but I've never seen any of these videos. It's actually 2 separate videos that I'm going to be watching and reacting to live with you. So we're going to be getting into it right now. I'm really curious on what happened here.
Hey, we want to get back to a story that we started to bring you earlier in the show. A wedding photographer in Dallas has now won more than $1 million from a couple who blasted her business online. Here's David Goins.
Okay, so we're going to stop it right there. So usually you're not able to, well, you can sue anybody for any reason at pretty much any time. Hashtag not legal advice. But usually there is no recourse for a bad review unless the review is a flat out lie. Hashtag not legal advice. So say for instance, you hire a company for anything, for a car cleaning, and and they didn't detail it the way you like, then you can say they are a horrible business because they didn't detail it the way I liked it, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I'm curious at what exactly happened here that a photographer would be awarded monies, let alone $1 million. I guess we'll find out.
I think all business owners are sitting ducks, but we're all scared that something like this is going to happen.
Andrea Polito spent 13 years in the tight-knit world of shooting wedding photography in Dallas.
A lot of people knew my name, and I knew a lot of people.
She says one bride and groom changed all of it.
I was completely humiliated.
According to a civil lawsuit, Newlyweds Neely and Andrew Moldovan contacted the media and made up a story about not receiving a wedding album they believe they were entitled to. The resulting social media backlash came right at Polito.
Foul names I won't even repeat.
People she had never worked for posted about the photographer, one saying, quote, "She gave me AIDS, photos were okay, 2 stars.
What? 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 You can't do that. That is defamatory. What? What? Oh my God. Oh my. So yeah. Wow. Again, not legal advice, just a guy, not a lawyer.
I just buried myself in my house. I didn't know what to do.
She took the couple to court, claiming the Moldovans not only spread false information, but did so for monetary reasons, to try and boost traffic on the Upset Bride's beauty blog.
This was a targeted campaign. It was online bullying.
During a week-long trial, attorney Dave Wishnu showed jurors the planning that went into the takedown, with posts from Neely like, quote,
It says, "Hey girl, what was your issue? We are contacting local TV stations and to know other people had the issue gives me so much ammunition to screw them over, LOL."
The issue gives me so much ammunition to screw them over, LOL, and we're hoping the story goes viral.
When you
So I don't know. I don't agree. This is my opinion. Hashtag not legal advice. But it's my opinion that what they wrote there is not necessarily, that part is not defamatory. That part, what they're saying is, I feel I was entitled to something. So I'm trying to prove a pattern. They can say, I mean, in the context that is written, yeah, I'm trying to screw them over. Well, and then we hope it goes viral. Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody screwed me over, I would hope that if I post something online that as many people can see it as possible so that they don't make the same mistake, so that that person hurts. So the fact they said I wanted to go viral, I don't have a problem with that. The part where we want to screw them over maybe is a little bit, but I couldn't see that, because they're saying seeing that other people had the same issue gives me as much ammunition. So that's the part where I want to focus on. Seeing that other people had the same issue gives me ammunition, and then they say to screw them over. But basically what they're saying is to mess them up, right? I want to screw them up. I want to mess them up. I want to screw up their business because they screwed me over and I want them to hurt. So again, I'm not mad at what they wrote. But again, I'm not a lawyer, hashtag, not legal advice, and I wasn't on the jury.
Lash out at someone with false statements, with lies, and you encourage other people to do it too.
But that's not what I heard or what I read. I didn't read the whole story.
Business, but you can rip apart someone's life.
Jurors agreed, awarding Andrea Polito just over $1 million in damages for the loss of her wedding photography business. The Moldovans were not in the courtroom when jurors...
Waiting for our NBC News debut. No, I forgot to DVR it. Huh? Putting it on the website right after, and Facebook.
That verdict, and our attempt to reach them for the story have not been returned. Polito now has two hopes. She says to caution those who might attack online.
There are lives and families on the other side of that keyboard.
And plans one day to return to shooting Dallas's weddings again. David Goins, Channel 8 News.
That was one of them. I'm going to check out the second video. Looks like the same case, just on now it's a panel discussion. So we'll see what happens with this one.
Thanks for watching Mid-Morning. This Wednesday, a jury in Texas has handed down a $1 million verdict in favor of a photographer who sued her former clients for defamation.
Defamation? How about this? The couple apparently upset about various aspects of Andrea Polito's work, but she says the way they responded was by lying about her online and also on the air, ruining her business. So they took this dispute to Facebook. They went on and on about it on Facebook. They called a local news station, did a story where basically they were saying this wedding photographer was holding their photos hostage, that they were being essentially ripped off, kind of leaving the impression she was a scammer. And according to the photographer, it destroyed her business.
Yeah,
now,
I can imagine. I just want to point out in the video, I think I point this way, in the video up here at top, another video that I did where we talked about how those reviews, how to look at those reviews and to see an actual scammer. So if you want to see an actual scammer, I did a reaction on that video. And like I said, it's going to be up there at the top. I'm just going to keep it up here. I think I can keep it up in this spot here for as long as I want, for the duration that I want. We're going to go back to
were a scammer, Molly, it probably would be a responsible thing to do, right? To draw attention to it.
Yeah, I think the problem is she wasn't a scammer. They didn't stick to these contract stipulations.
That's what the jury ruled, right?
They had to pay, for this cover album or the cover
so let's
photo.
kind of explain the situation, because
let's get the details. I like this video. We're actually getting some of the details. So the other video just said she sued and won $1 million. This one is actually getting into the details of the contract. So I'm definitely more in tune with this one.
Friends, who are wedding photographers, and that's how it works. That's just how it works.
You have to order the book, the photo album. That's part of the contract.
And that's the initial part of it. And then it takes months for these high-resolution photos, everything to be put together, because the wedding photographer wants to, provide the most beautiful pictures.
And you want that too, as the bride and groom, I would think.
So they were upset because they didn't get that right away, even though they didn't stick to the contract.
So Matt, they said that essentially she was holding their photos hostage. Wow. The actual facts of this, to me, are less important than the overall idea.
No, they're very important.
I think, in a social media world with Yelp and TripAdvisor and all of these ways where you can rate whatever, it's pretty easy to get carried away.
Well, yeah, and people can fall back on, that's just...
Sorry, I'm just going to pause it here. I disagree with Oh Boy in the Middle. The details are what's absolutely important, because without the details, without the contract, there is no lawsuit, right? She wouldn't have any recourse to receive $1 million for her photography business. But I'm going to touch on what she said. I don't know these anchors' names. here on CBS 4. But the anchor on the right, the female anchor, she said that the contract is what she was alluding to. I don't know what was in the contract, but what she was alluding to was they paid for wedding photography. And then either they had to pay additional for an album and an additional amount to get a photo cover, or they had to wait an amount of time to get the photo. So I don't know exactly what happens, but I do want to touch on what she had spoke about specifically with wedding photography. Your pictures aren't going to be ready tomorrow. Your pictures aren't going to be ready next week. And as they said, you don't want them to be, because you want the photographer to take your photos and make them perfect. You want them to go through and touch up your photos. So let's say on the lower end, it is 500 photos. Let's just say that on the lower end. And you have an app on your phone, whatever app on your phone, to do these adjustments to your photo to make it perfect. How long does that take you? And this is an app on the phone that makes it, whatever, super easy for you to do. Is that going to take you a couple seconds? Is that going to take you a couple minutes? Is that going to take you 10 minutes? We're talking about your wedding photo. How long would you spend to make a wedding photo that you're going to post on Instagram look perfect, with the skies the right color and your complexion and the dress is pure white and everything? How long would that take you? 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes? Now multiply that by 500. So it takes time for your photos to be touched up. And it's not something that's going to be ready tomorrow, not something that's going to be ready next week. Some photographers are perfectionists, and I get that. And any photographers that are in the comments that don't like what I say, I am sincerely sorry. Your work is incredible. You do great work. And with the photographers that are perfectionists, it will take them a lot longer. It might be that they're only able to edit 20 photos a day because it takes them that much time to make your photos perfect. So if they're touching up 20 photos a day, multiply that times 500 and then put in for, days off, because you're not going to be editing every single day. So there's a lot that goes into it, but I do want to touch on there that you're not going to get your photos the next day. It's not going to be the next week. It shouldn't be a year before you see your wedding photos. That shouldn't happen. But a few months, 3-4 months is not unheard of. We'll just put it that way. It's not unheard of because it takes time for the photographer to touch up your photos. Now, with the album itself, if they did not pay for an album, if it's not in the contract, then it's not part of your package. So again, I don't know what details they had there, but if it wasn't part of the package, it wasn't in the contract, then it's not part of the package, and you do have to pay additional for an album. It is what it is. And if it says album, if it says you get an album and it doesn't specify that it's a acrylic cover album or a picture cover album or something like that, then it is a standard album. It defaults to what is your standard package. So it should state specifically what you're going to be getting as far as the album goes, whether it's going to be an acrylic cover or not. And if it's not part of your package, then you have to pay additional because that wasn't built into the pricing that was given to you. And just to give you an example, this is an acrylic cover album. If it's not an acrylic cover album, then it'll probably be if it's not an acrylic cover album, then it will be a leather album that looks like this. And so you have to be specific on the contract, whether it's going to be if an album's included and the type of cover that you have. If it's not in that package, if it's not in the contract, then it's not part of your package. And you should, you can't hold the photographer liable later for something that wasn't included in the package, even if you're going to make a review online.
The social media world with Yelp and TripAdvisor and all of these ways where you can rate whatever, it's pretty easy to get carried away.
Well, yeah, and people can fall back on, well, that's just my experience.
It's my opinion.
That's my opinion. You can't, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. However, in this particular case, they ruled that there was malice, that they were trying to hurt this person's business. And if you just go complain like, hey, these photos turned out to be not what we wanted, that's one thing. But you're making claims that don't turn out to be true and trying to bring somebody down, that's something else altogether.
Is that the trick, Molly?
I mean, I think so. There was malice, right?
Yeah.
I mean, some Facebook comments.
There was a Facebook comment that said like, "Oh, your business is done."
Yeah.
Ouch.
I think like,
That's a little harsh.
but you've seen stuff like this. People get excited and carried away, and they're like, "I'm going to destroy your business."
And I'll go back. That is not, I mean, so what? You put that on there. There's emotions obviously involved with weddings. And if you feel that you've been duped in some way, then you want to get back at the person that duped you. And so to say that your business is done, I don't have a problem with that. I want you to hurt. You hurt me. I want you to hurt. But if I say something that's untrue, then that's the difference. So just because they're like, here's what happened to me, this, whether it's a laundry list of things or if it's just one thing, he didn't show up, right? That's a huge thing. And again, I have that video where the photographer, or was it videographer? I can't remember which one, didn't show up. And so that link is going to be up here somewhere. And so that is, you can say he didn't show up. And then everybody's going to chime in and say that's terrible and he should be done. Let's go ahead and, let's do a complaint against him. Let's call the media. Let's do all this other stuff because he didn't show up. Yes. Yeah, there's no problem with that at all. But if you're saying something that's a lie, they promised me an album and they're not living up to what they promised. And so they are done. I hate them. And let's go ahead and get a lynch mob against them. Right, so that's a lie because it's not in there. Even if they think it's true, that can't be because it's clear. It should be clearly stated in the contract. Anyway.
And part of me feels like that is speech that it's a bad idea, but I feel a little bit like that should be protected speech.
It is protected
speech. If you
speech.
actually destroy someone's business and they don't deserve that,
there are consequences.
There are
I
consequences.
think, it's interesting as things develop. We'll see what kind of a precedent this sets because maybe we have to start watching what we say.
That's right.
Boy, that'd be good if you could just fly off the handle all the time on social media.
Yeah, you can't do it with the intent of destroying someone.
Yeah, please stop sending me those emails.
I don't agree with what he said. I believe that it is all protected speech unless it's the things that don't constitute protected speech. Fighting words are not protected under the Constitution. They're saying your business is done. I don't have a problem with that. If they feel that they want to hurt their business, then they can, technically, I guess they can do that. Hashtag not legal advice. But then when you start spreading lies about someone for any type of gain, whether it's fame, which then will lead to monetary gain, or just monetary gain in general, then that can't be, there are consequences to it. Not necessarily it can't be protected speech or free speech, but there are consequences to saying those things. And as you see, this couple got caught up. Now, the big thing is, I don't know that the photographer is going to be able to collect. There are two parts to the lawsuit. The first part is winning the lawsuit. And so the photographer won the lawsuit. Now the jury decided on the damages that the defendants had to pay the plaintiff. The couple had to pay the photographer. And they said it's going to be $1 million. Now, the problem with that is how many couples, especially couples after planning a wedding, especially couples that were trying to go viral so they can, it seemed like, make money, how many are going to have $1 million lying around? So the photographer is going to have a hard time collecting that $1 million. And hashtag not legal advice, but what would probably end up happening is the couple would file bankruptcy, and then that judgment goes away. It's definitely a precedence, and I like the precedence here. I just wish that it would have been something that was more attainable for the photographer. Like I can almost guarantee the photographer is not going to be able to collect that $1 million from these clients. How many of us have $1 million just lying around? Not your boy. So I want to thank you guys for rocking with me one more time and checking out my video of a wedding photographer that was awarded a $1 million judgment against their clients. I am going to be doing some more videos, so check them out right here, and I will see you on the next one.